first time I got like super like thin glasses. They were like an inch.
I have that too.
And then I got bigger ones from there, and then I got these ones after that. And really, it's just to like see more of the marimba without, and other instruments, without having to look it down. It's more real estate.
It's true. I never feel like I need it though, because I also have those inches glasses. I think I'm just used to, like, I could see the accidental keys, so I just assume where the white keys are.
Right. See, I'm not that good. I have to see it all.
No, because that's how Matt taught us at the first place. Like, in our first lesson, it was like, okay, here's the C sharp. Okay, find the E from C sharp. So that
I remember
did that
doing
in the
that
first lesson. Yeah, that was fun. So that's what I get used to. Saying like the dude who cough drink. Yeah.
He's the guy who ruffles his chip bag in the concert. He literally just did.
Oh, you got Funyuns?
Yeah.
What was that? Did you guys crash or was that the me?
I think that's you.
Oh my god, my computer just like
Oh no.
black screen for 2 seconds.
Better get that
I wasn't joking. I
wasn't
joking. I wasn't joking. Let me say
time.
this. Nancy said I has the best oral exams she ever seen.
Then let me see it.
I'm just saying. Her words, not mine. I'm just saying. Anyway. Okay. And action. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Undergraduate, a percussion-based podcast. From repertoire to everyday life lessons, we are seeking to share our experience as current students. Well, welcome back to season 2. Sorry, we took a really long break, and since it's a new season, and since Shane doesn't give a shit about anything, I'm this season's new host. And as you can tell, Shane's eating a sandwich, so we really not give a crap about this season. But anyway, let me introduce today's guest. So today we have Jacob, my old friend, as a guest. So Jacob Ottmer is a percussionist and educator, features a multifaceted career that includes composing, arranging, performing, and educating at all levels. His current projects include revitalizing the percussion repertoires, chamber musics, and exploring live sound manipulations. As an active freelance educator, Jacob has taught percussion method course at CCM and has CCM, Cincinnati Conservatory of Music, and has recently taught open classroom for group. He has been teaching marching percussion since 2016 and drew heavily on his experience in activities with groups like St. Clair Vanguard and Modern Independent. Both private lessons and composing/arranging for marching bands has become a significant part of his works with schools and students across the country. Jacob's performance opportunities range from marching percussion and percussion ensemble competitions to orchestras and chamber music festivals. Recently, he was hired to perform with CCM, Opera, Booth Camp Orchestra, and the Camp Blossom Orchestra. As part of his chamber music project, he also premiered a number of new works during the Space City New Music Festival in his hometown, Houston, Texas, and I was also there. And is continued to compose and commission new chamber music with a greater visions for the role of the percussionist. Welcome, Jacob Ottmer. Woo!
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for joining us.
Very
and
nice.
let me take a deep breath. Whew,
Oh
that
my
was
gosh,
so hard. that was hard without practicing it.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, Michael. You were there for 2 of those things, though, Michael.
Hope was she was the front ensemble coordinator after you.
I never met Hope. I don't even know.
That's
Yeah.
her.
Hope is right
She's
there.
right
Oh,
there.
that's you. Okay. I was like,
Hope.
nice.
Yeah.
How did you get there?
Well,
Like,
what was his name? Paco asked me.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I don't know if I would want to do it. So I give it to Hope.
Nice.
But then COVID happened. So really unlucky for
kind of
Right.
luckily though, because we were already kind of busy with school.
So you go to
Yeah.
school with Michael?
We started
Gotcha.
masters together.
Nice.
And David also did it. But
Nice.
David is very fancy because he went to Eastman, so he's like better than everybody's here. But
Yeah, David's a beast.
I don't know about
Yeah.
that one, Chief.
and okay,
Yeah, totally unrelated. This sandwich is so good.
Nice.
that is something related, and we're definitely cutting this part.
No, we're not.
Is it just ham and bread? It just looks like ham and bread.
Did I see chips in there too?
Ham and bread. That's it. No, ham, cheese, and mustard. And I got some fruit with me.
Cute.
Oh, he
Yeah.
looks like an adult now. That's what an adult would be eating. That's exactly.
You
what a
mean
graduate assistant-
someone on a budget?
Yeah, so this is
You mean a graduate student?
Oh my god.
Sorry.
If y'all want to
Wait, what?
donate to our fund to help feed Shane, you can get him more than ham and cheese and bread.
I've lost 10 pounds in the last 2 days.
Wow.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh no, you haven't.
I'm
All right, Jacob, what are you been up to, man? I
Yeah,
haven't seen you in
man.
so long. What are you working on?
So I guess the thing that's on the front of my mind is finishing up this high school marching band show. Michael, do you remember Joey from Raiders? He was the quad tech.
Yeah. Joey, he marched mandarins or something.
I guess. I don't remember.
Yeah,
very
he
much.
did.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it. He teaches at a place in Virginia, and last year actually, he was like, "Hey, I need you to, or literally anyone, to write this band show because his original front writer just ghosted him for like 3 months or something."
Oof.
Yeah. So then I picked it up. I was just like trying to blast something out, did it, and then they scrapped the show, but I still got paid, which was awesome. And then now they're doing a new show like right now. So I'm finishing the third movement. So that's at the forefront of my mind, which is just notes.
Let me say something real quick. This is the first time I'm hearing ghosting and blasting in the context of marching band and not dating.
Oh my god.
That's new. I appreciate it, Jacob. And of course, it's coming from you. Of course, out of anybody who use ghosting and blasting in marching context, it will be Jacob.
It would.
No,
It's
Michael,
it's
what
a
are
new
you
season.
up to?
Yeah, go for it.
What am I
Michael,
up to?
what are you up to right now?
What am I up to right
What
now?
What are you
Oh,
doing these days since it's been so long?
So I I graduated from local with my master's degree in marimba performance. Oh, thank you. And then I recently trying to apply for a job, but that didn't end up working out because I realized that interview is hard, but it was a good learning experience. I appreciate everybody was professional and all my friends are being very supportive. So I learned a lot despite not getting the job in the end, but I was grateful for the opportunity to get interview. And so I'm just kind of back to my original plan. I'm doing a 1-year program again in Boco, just kind of because my last year was in remote, and actually my professor did a really good job providing a very good experience through Zoom. But I definitely want to come back and just have that proper ending of my master year and also being prepared for DMA audition again.
What so
Not
like
again,
what
the
what
first
is this what is the 1-year thing called? Like what is it?
It's not very common. I think it's called PSC, Professional Study Certificates. Several of the master student previously had done it. Like some of my friends already done it, and it's much cheaper. It's half price and on top of a scholarship, so it's like very affordable.
Are you full or half time? Is
So
that really a thing or what?
Yeah. So master student, we typically get 10 hours in Boco here. And so I'm still doing 10 hours per semester. And I just don't have, there's no required class. It's just I'm taking fun elective, because there is a lot of Berkeley world percussion class that I'm really interested in taking, or even some kind of, jazz improv. So I might, take some of that on top of taking percussion lessons with Sam Solomon. So I'm pretty hyped about this semester and just doing more than marimba. So that's it for me.
Nice.
David, what is up with David?
After I graduated from Boco, I've just been around the Dallas-Fort Worth area, just teaching. Taught at MacArthur High School, and then recently I taught at Allen High School.
Are you doing what are you specifically doing? Like marching band stuff?
Yeah,
Or-
marching band stuff specifically, at least right now.
Yeah.
I was kind of like a battery tech at MacArthur, and then I was quad tech at Allen. And then hopefully I'm kind of in talks with the percussion director there to hopefully teach some lessons there as well. So that's kind of my
Nice.
plan. And recently, I got back into like making music and stuff because I kind of took a break after I graduated. So it's kind of nice to get back into that too.
Nice.
That's hype.
Hope.
So with Hope. Oh, I thought I'm the host.
Oh yeah,
so
sorry.
you just
Sorry. Hey, I'll leave real quick. Okay.
yeah. I was just,
See you guys
know,
later.
So what's up with Hope? Hope, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm living in New Hampshire now, and I was a little worried because I thought it would be super, super like small town vibes compared to Boston, and it kind of is. But they have a lot going on in this little town. But yeah, I start law school in like a week and a half. I start on the 23rd. Since I graduated from BOCO, I haven't been playing music at all. I think even toward the end of BOCO, I wasn't playing music.
None of us are. Trust me, I wasn't either.
But you know, yeah. So just.
When's the last time you touched a mallet?
Dude. Well, when I go clean out my locker, that'll be the first time in a while.
Oh my
First time in,
gosh.
like, months. I think 4 or 5 months.
Wow.
It's still so crazy. Your last semester, you did an oral exam, you did a recital, and you studied for law school, and you made it to a law school in one
That's
year.
dope. That is so dope.
That's insane.
That is impressive.
Yeah. So.
And you're working on top of that too. You're insane.
So doing all that now, I've decided to give myself a break, and when I'm not working during law school ever, but I guess that's it. That's like the most of my break because law school kind of sucks too. But we'll see. Who knows? Maybe I'll like it.
Where are you going again?
New Hampshire School of Law. I'm going mainly for intellectual property. That's what it's pretty much set in.
Mm-hmm.
The Center for Intellectual Property.
Nice.
But I'm only an hour away from Boston, so I'm just gonna drive an hour if I need to go see friends or do whatever.
There you go.
Not that bad.
That's very exciting. And last but not least, we have Shane, our previous leader, but not anymore because he doesn't give a
I got demoted.
Deranked.
Got demoted.
What is up with you, Shane?
I made a big move. A biggie move. Huge move. I now live in Virginia, Harrisonburg, Virginia. Used to live in Texas. So yeah, it's a big move. I'm doing my master's in percussion performance here, studying with good old Casey Cangelosi. And yeah, he's like terrible. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
he's great.
that's what I heard.
Yeah, his mallets suck. No, I'm kidding.
Why would you do that? in two sentences, you make fun of your professor twice.
Well, he makes fun. I mean,
podcast.
if he makes fun of me, like his whole motto is, if you don't come out of here funnier, then you're not doing it right. He's like you've achieved nothing if you haven't come out of the school funnier. So that's gonna be, that's my main goal, really. Like nothing else.
To
really
become
matters.
a comedian.
I'm just trying to get funny.
Studying.
Like I'm not here to study percussion. I'm trying to be funny.
Clown school.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Yeah, you have. I mean, have I been practicing? No. Yeah, I have. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, that's where I'm at now.
That's very uninteresting. Thanks for sharing, Shane.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Appreciate it. Yeah. So anyway, back to our real business. Jacob, we're talking before we just start recording. You kind of mentioned something about a timpani position that you're trying to go for. So if you don't mind sharing it real quick again.
Yeah, the position is a assistant timpanist / section percussionist at Cincinnati Symphony. So it's CSO, but it's not Chicago or Cleveland because they're all CSO.
Yeah.
So it's a little confusing, but that position has like a huge list. So it's like you come out of like your undergrad degree and your master's knowing some rep, but like the stuff they're asking for nowadays is like doubled down, like twice as hard, twice as long sometimes, and then just the more modern rep, which is good because it's like actual demands of the instruments like you're gonna have to do in an orchestra. But it's like I know about half the list, and then the second half I'm not really familiar with, so it's a lot of note learning. In 2 days, the resume round I guess, ends, if you want to call it that, because they'll let us know, like, if like they actually want to hear us. So if they do, that'll be like early October. Um, yeah. So
Wow.
Okay.
So
What did you put for the? Oh,
No,
good question.
Go ahead, Michael.
What did you have to write for your resume? Like, I don't know. Like, did they ask for a specific thing in your resume, like your playing experience, repertoire? Or...
Yeah, it was, it's both what you expect and don't expect, because it's like the things you're ready to tell them, but like they ask it in a specific order, that makes you kind of put it in their little text fields a different way that you might expect to. So I submit the PDF of my CV, because resume in music world is usually a CV anyways, released in my experience. Then they ask about your professional playing experience, like if they include within like a parenthetical, whether you've been in the final rounds of a recent audition. So if you made it to the finals of U.S. Marine Band audition, you got cut. It happens. Only one guy gets the job. You could put that, because that looks pretty good to like everyone just making it to the finals. And then like other just probably like gigging opportunities, like if you play with a regional orchestra, like say Louisville, that's close to me ish. Say they have something that you play with every once in a while. They would probably be interested in that sort of thing. But me being still kind of like 12 years old, it's like how much experience can I even put on here that they're just not going to like sift away, because it's like school things you did, and granted, they clarify on their like homepage, or of the application, like only highly qualified individuals should apply for this position, and I'm like, I don't know that I'm there, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
I mean, it's not. Yeah. I wouldn't say that would hurt you in any way. So I mean, it's only a benefit.
No.
Right.
I mean, they probably laugh at your resume,
Oh, absolutely.
Hey, we all get laughed at some point. I'm kidding. I mean, it's fantastic that you're trying it. I would, not have the balls to do something similar to that. Not at all. Yeah, so it's good for you.
It's daunting just to think about it. But like, even I'm not expecting to like win it per se, but if I can at least do the first round to experience an audition like that, that's something to be gained.
Yeah, for sure. And then you could put on that experience for the next time. It's like I got cut in the first round. But...
I got cut. That's
I lost.
Is this the first time you're auditioning for a position like this?
Yes. Yeah. There's never really been a professional position like that I've had the opportunity to actually audition for. Last year there was another U.S. band or Army band position that was open. It was just, I was GA last year. It was, still COVID. It kind of still is. And, trying to prep for my recital in February, it's like, I couldn't take that, So, yeah, this is the first one, and it's like in my backyard.
Yeah, that's so perfect.
Yeah. So,
nice. That's dope.
Best of luck on that.
Yes, best of luck. So you got more rep to look at, right? You said you only had like half of it learned or something.
Yeah. There's like about 15 timpani excerpts, like, wow. And that's just the timpani part. Everything else, it's like keyboard, tambourine, cymbals. I don't think there was triangle, and then snare drum.
Wow, it's a lot.
Because it's also still a section percussion position.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense.
Oof. Wait, so you recently got into, you're going back to Cincinnati for your DMA. Right. So what's your main focus for that? I'm just curious.
For that, it's to dig into a little bit the amount that I can of the big chamber works, which tend to be like the 2 piano plus percussion things. So there's the Crumb. I always get the title wrong. It's like the Music for a Summer's Evening, I think. Huge amount of percussion that's happening behind the pianos, and then even the pianos are doing some kind of wild things. So I don't see a lot of piano pieces that require you to basically have there's that music holding thing on it that you can move back and forth.
Yeah.
You kind of disposition it so you can reach inside the piano, do that stuff. And I think the pianists in that piece are asked to either hum or sing, but I know the percussionists do that to some degree as well. And then I have plans to play the Bartok Sonata for 2 percussion and piano, 2 piano percussion. I think.
Nice.
Yeah, this semester. That's,
Wow.
I mean, I always know Jacob is a nerd, but that's the nerdiest thing I heard from him yet. I have to say.
It's only gonna get worse. I got 3 more years of school.
I mean, yeah, that's the whole point of DMA is how much nerdy you could get. Exactly.
Yeah. Like
what other useless facts you might know, or will learn, you know?
I always remember, and Shane, you remember, this is Dr. Perez. He got the job at Lamar University in my final years. And in his first, I think second concert, before a quartet they were about to play, someone forgot to bring his mats and music. I don't know how he came out without his music. I think he got his mats, but he didn't have his music. So I have to like very awkwardly walk back off stage to find his music.
Who did this?
And then don't worry about the
don't.
No, expose him. Expose him.
We're not calling this person out.
It was Michael Chang. No.
It was not me. Trust me. I know I could be dumb, but I'm not that dumb where I forgot the music. Anyway, so we're just awkwardly waiting, and Frank was like doing this, and then he just like decided to turn around, and he was like, all right, the first math percussion ensemble premiered in this year and then by this school.
Dude,
and I was like,
he just flexed. He flexed the useless information.
That's what you do, yeah.
Hey, it comes in handy, so it's not totally useful, you know?
I mean, have a worse story from Lamar than that.
You know.
Oh, you have another story? Go for it,
Yes,
Jacob.
from, I also cannot say
is
the
this
person's
about
name.
me?
No,
It's not
you.
me. Okay.
It is. Keep going, it is.
I mean, it could be,
is.
but I'm not saying the name.
Go for it.
So I was playing on this recital of someone's in a certain studio, and what happened was I think it was their last piece. I think he knows what this is.
Was I here for this?
I don't know. You might have been a freshman.
Yeah, I think it's your freshman year.
What year?
Yeah.
2016?
I guess the last.
your
year
freshman
that
year.
Well, I mean, I'm just wondering.
it might have been my freshman year because Travis Fife was still there.
Yeah.
Travis was still there in his freshman year. Anyway, keep going.
Travis was still there my first year.
So it was the last piece on the recital. He walks out, pauses, doesn't have his music, and just makes up the entire thing.
And this was his recital, right?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, God.
You were playing on this piece?
No, I didn't play on that piece. This was a solo one for multi.
Wait, no,
Oh, yeah,
I know,
No, I remember the
That
story now.
happened.
I think I was there. I remember watching that. And I was like, okay, this is cool. And then someone next to me was like, he made that all up. And I was like, what?
Why didn't he just go get it? Was it like just not in the room?
I have no idea.
Oh,
It might have been at the other building.
Oh, okay. Just
No one asked.
Oh yeah,
Everyone was confused and or pissed off, and then no one ever spoke about it.
I mean, nobody was pissed off, but you know,
Oh, well.
That happened. Oh,
Maybe not one of the
okay.
students.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
And-
so I can't be excited anymore. Michael has deranked me even more, so I'm going to be very serious from now on.
So you're just a reaction person. You're just a.
Oh,
you're
like
supposed to
anytime there's a
smile.
joke, I'll be like, ha ha ha.
You're just a podcast hype man.
So Jacob, let's take a turn here.
Hit me. All right.
Let's just kind of go into something completely different, and something that I talked to you about. I think prior to us, or it was like our meeting where we were just like setting everything up. I really loved your website. Loved your website.
Thanks.
I loved how it was set up and all that stuff, the design and everything. How has the website helped your career in general? What type of benefits have you gotten from that?
And it's
using the
okay to
website?
say no.
And if you haven't, then that's fine. We can move on. But
So
sorry, I need
I'm gonna-
to be serious. Sorry.
I'm going to hit you with something really the opposite of what everyone tells you. I don't think it's helped me at all. It's been like it's nice to have something with my name on it, with to have something representative of like where you can find the majority of my work, even though it's woefully out of date, like by a year and a half or two.
Well, you're busy.
Yeah. So like as it is right now, should I bother screen sharing it? People can just go look at it because it'll be.
We'll link your website
Okay.
in the.
Yeah.
Well, let me rephrase it a little bit. Do you potentially see it helping you in certain areas in the future?
Areas.
Like, do you have things lined up to where you're like, the website will definitely come in handy here?
If I either get any of my compositions published or self-publish them, then that would be like the main hub to, distribute and to disseminate information about them. If I ever get around to doing that and updating the website. But apart from that, applying to a position like a university position, either adjunct or full-time, I do think it is beneficial, if not almost a prerequisite.
It's a require, basically.
Yeah.
Because
to
it's
have your
basically,
name on that.
it's like a portfolio essentially.
Right. Yeah.
where
So it's a good
everything you do
way
is in there.
to have a digital portfolio on one place, and then link to YouTube, because you don't need to host a video on your website. Who cares? Just use YouTube. So it will be useful for that. I don't know if I'll keep the same domain. I might let it go inactive until I finish my DMA and update it. That might be more financially reasonable, because it's Squarespace. It's not cheap, but it's not crazy expensive either.
Wait, how much are you paying?
It's like $60 a year to renew whatever thing with Squarespace, and then the domain name itself. So Ottmer Percussion, I think it's about 15 or 20 per year on renewal. So it ends up being about 75 to 80 ish.
Yeah.
So as of right
It's not
now,
too bad.
I haven't had any contacts where like, hey, let me do lessons. It's all been like local interactions and networking here for me in Cincinnati. So
I think it's so tricky because when you have a website, people always say like contact for lessons, but like how often people actually do that, right? Because if we're looking for high schooler, they're most likely their district have someone, like as a private lesson teacher for that district or for that school. And then for college students, like, they won't find you unless you're like the big time artist.
Right.
And, so it's like, it would be so weird for a college student to look for help for another recent graduate without any, very big name, like you've done big time competition or whatever to back it up. So,
right.
But like you always should open up the option. So I mean, because it's like a might as well thing. But
yeah,
but like for piano. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know if you guys have like a similar opinion, but I feel like, especially in our positions right now, I feel like social media does more for that than a web. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I get contacted, or you guys probably also get contacted way more on social media. No, I don't know. That's my experience. Like, well, it's not like I reach out; it's people reach out, to me.
Yeah.
Well,
like,
that's what happened when you march. That's what happened when you march Tanner for Blue Coats. You get all the.
No, I think I kind of agree. Like I was thinking about what websites do I really type in, like www dot website. Like I don't really do that. I have my websites. It's usually like, I don't know, like Amazon or Bloomberg or stuff like that. So I think Shane's right. Like social media, it's so easy. Like, oh, like what's your at?
Yeah.
And
I think you're
informal,
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Exactly.
I think you only pull up like when you're trying to stalk this person. I mean, not stalk. Research this person. There you go. That's a better term.
Yeah, research, the appropriate word for stalking.
Yeah. I don't know.
The politically correct.
Say I saw Jacob's Merlin recording on YouTube, and then I was like, Jacob Ottmer, let me see his YouTube channel. Pretty interesting. Got his own conversation, and then I'll type his name on Google and see what is he up to. Like hopefully maybe his Facebook profile pops up, because research, not stalking. Right. And then maybe at that point your website will pop up, right? Because that should be the first thing when you type Jacob Ottmer, then ottmerpercussion.com, right? So I guess in that way, then your website is useful because it condense and collect all the information and present it in the way that you want people to see you, you know. So I think it's still useful in the long term, but you know, like a lot of people ask me, oh, do you have a website? You should have a website. Like, the fuck am I gonna use the website for? I have nothing, man. So, but for you, Jacob, I think and we mentioned like you're doing so many freaking things. You do like marching, arranging, you do, you know, you have a lot of good recordings, you compose. So it's like, you know, you have a lot of ways for people to want to find you, and you should definitely have one for sure. So I think it's actually useful in a long term way. Anyway, sorry for talking. That's my tech talk.
No, that was good. That was good.
I will say that there's no substitute for, and I'm sure all of you know this, and I've experienced it. There's no substitute for local networking, because it's like that's where all of my gigs have come from. My professors being emailed from local high schools, middle schools, who knows what, looking for people to instruct front ensemble, drumline, blah blah blah, or even just straight up lessons. That's always been the source of my work, basically, where I contact them or have a friend who's leaving, so I take it over, you know. I will say I have, you know, there's an analytics app for, I don't have it on my thing anymore. Squarespace had an analytics app to tell you what region of, you know, wherever that the person was accessing your website from.
Yeah,
so,
I heard about that.
Yeah.
That is so stocky.
It is. It doesn't give exact locations, but if you're applying to a school and all of a sudden you see Canada and Montreal, like I applied to a school there. Oh, it wasn't them that looked at me. It was McGill University. I forget what city that is. Maybe that is Montreal. Yeah.
It's in Canada. Somewhere in Canada.
So they were looking at my website, but after they sent me their rejection letter, I was like, what are you doing?
Oh.
Yeah. So it's good for people that are afar, that you're trying to network with or have, you know, some common connection with, to find out more about you. But it's not the main way I've done anything so far.
I kind of see that paying for the website for things like the analytics just makes it worth it. And but like you said, you're like busy, you're doing other things. So do you need that right now? Probably not. But for any of you who are, you know, having your websites out there, maybe keep that in mind. Like, you can see who's looking at you, kind of ish. Yeah. I think that's really cool. I was like, oh, maybe I should make the website, you know. I'm not for music anymore, but that's interesting.
There are free options, like WordPress, I think, is free.
Oh, yeah.
I think. They probably offer similar analytics. You know, probably have to check it out. But yeah, for people like Cameron Leach, people do look him up. People like book him, you know.
I swear to God, Cameron Leach has come up to this podcast every time. His name always come up every episode, man. I swear to God.
He has to. He's like, of all the people in percussion, I think he's the most social media savvy. You know?
Yes.
Because we saw him do a clinic on it, Michael. That was at Space City.
Space City.
Yeah. Like, he does it kind of the best, and he even told us, like, straight up, like, he had to find the right way to portray himself, because he'd show up to a gig, you know, not like screwing around, but like trying to joke and have some fun, and people were like completely caught off guard because he was very serious at that stage of his social media presence, I guess.
Yeah.
So he had to kind of rebrand almost, I think is what he told us.
Yeah. So David, you're doing some music sick beat things. Have you thought about doing your own website for samples?
A website? I don't know. I think in terms of
a SoundCloud.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna talk about. It was if I was gonna do anything like social media related in terms of like if I ever were to like release music, I'd probably be more of like around that route, like go to SoundCloud or like go to like a distributor and distribute like Spotify or whatever. Because I personally don't think like having a website would really help, because I don't think a lot of like famous artists, at least today, at least from my knowledge, don't really have websites. It's all just social media. Like they have their Instagrams, their Facebook, Twitter. Rarely do I ever see like a website, at least from what I know. So I'm just not sure if websites are maybe they, I don't know, I don't want to say they've fallen out of like style, but it almost kind of feels that way, because it's always tagging to people's like social medias as opposed to like their websites.
Yeah. I would say one last thing. It's kind of a funny thing where we have to take a class, me, David, and Hope. We have to take a class called, I think, communicating about music, or writing about music. So one of the things we did in the classes, we talk about building our websites and stuff like that. And the first thing we did is we looked at different artists' website, like professional musicians' website. And the thing that he used as a bad examples is usually the people that are super successful. like they want to yell, they have this job for like 20 years, and then they're, you know, all the students from the class, they're like, oh, this website is so bad, the color is bad, it's not consistent, blah blah blah. And then we'll find like a young person that recently graduated, have a YouTube channel to be like super clean and stuff. But then I'm like, well, the first example, he went to Yale, you know, does he need a website? So I feel like in the end, it's like, if you're good, you're good, you know. But like, if you're not talented, like me, for example, you know, having a proper website could, you know, make yourself more marketable. So
Yeah, it might just be like a generational thing. Like maybe for us, like a little more akin to like going to social media, and then maybe if like you're applying for a job somewhere, and maybe write down the website's name. Maybe like a band director or like professor can go to your website, check out what you've been doing. Because I think that would be a really good way for at least people in like higher positions to kind of get to know you more personally by checking out what you've been doing, like composing wise or like performance wise. And I could totally see like the use for that. It's just that everything, like 95% is just handled by social media. It's just like how it's been.
Yeah, to agree with David, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like, oh, what's the point of a website? And this is not to shame listeners of popular musical artists that don't have websites. But, you know, if you think about our world, it could be classical music, it could be the marching world or whatever. Most of the people that you'll be interacting with, you know, they might have the degrees. You might be teaching collegiately kids that are really looking in that academic space. So, yeah, I think they'd want to use websites for like, you know, those research, you know, reasons. And then, you know, somebody like Cardi B, again, not to shame her listeners, but I want to say there's a good amount of people that do not care about the research or that side of Cardi B. They're just like,
no, they're like, they listen to her music.
Yep.
And that's what they like.
I think that's the website's probably more for our field. Just, you know, we do have older listeners and listeners of all ages, but the academic world is very connected with our sort of musical standards. I guess. I mean, we all have masters on this podcast, so, or sorry, Shane, you will have masters.
Oh,
in the works, in progress, in progress.
Unlucky.
So maybe it's something like that. You know, it's just like people like newspapers still. It's like, why? And there are still people who still like touching paper. I do think they're kind of useless and pointless at this point. So I agree with David.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we go with. Oh, David, do you have something to say?
Oh. No.
Oh, sorry. You know, the Zoom,
Really
like they have like they have like a yellow cycle, like a yellow. Whenever someone is talking, are you guys seeing like a yellow box?
Yeah.
So then I saw David's pop. So I was like, oh, my bad, David. Anyway, well, we kind of mentioned you composing when we talk about your music. So let's talk about that. When did you start and like, how has it been? So let's talk about that.
I guess when I started, oh no, it's really, really odd where it started, because I started, the first thing that I ever wrote, I guess, I feel like pulling it up, but I won't, was this awful, really, really awful full orchestra thing. And I revisited it recently this summer, because there was one part that and Michael, I showed this to like Dr. Holm, like my freshman year. I was always like, hey, look at this awful crap that I wrote. It was pretty bad. There was, there were things.
You did it in high school? You did it in high school?
No, this was in at Lamar.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Freshman year, college.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I guess there was something one piece before this, but I've buried that, and I don't talk about it. It's that bad.
That's okay. We
Yeah.
all have that one. We don't have
Yeah.
that one piece.
So there's this one part of it where it just like goes to piano, and I showed it to Dr. Holm, the full thing, and then he was like, "That one spot, that was really beautiful," and I was just like, "Oh, I mean, thanks. I don't know." Didn't know what I was really doing at that point, so I revisited it because I was like, that was the only part worth looking at again. And I kind of sprung a new piece off of it, so where it's piano, vibraphone, and cello, and it opens with that theme. I had to like completely rework like the meter it was in because like what it originally was in was like a 3/4, 4/4, and a 5/4, just kind of mishmash of just like space because I wasn't really aware that you could kind of manipulate time without changing the meter at that point. Because I feel like we get too much into a thing where we're like utilizing metric modulations and then like different meters too much to where it's just like let the musician interpret the music in a normal meter and get that same effect rather than just writing all these really awkward meter changes that force them to interpret it in the way that you kind of imagine it, which is very restrictive. So I didn't dumb it down. I kind of constrained it to like 3/4 and added, some other stuff within it to make it, I guess more robust. I don't know, some words. So it's funny how that piece has kind of come full circle after like 5 or 6 years. Yeah.
Oh, that was the piece in your recital, right?
No, this one I just finished almost a month ago. Yeah, I haven't recorded it.
You haven't have a YouTube. Okay.
Yeah, so that's not recorded yet. I plan on recording it like January or February of this coming year, because I have enough to do right now.
Oh, I feel really awkward. I feel like I'm really bad friends for. No way. Anyway, no. I'm sorry.
But the other stuff that I have had like performed, so that one's to come. That's on the back boiler right now. The other stuff that's been done is that trio I had played last October, where it's vibraphone and timpani, same person playing both instruments at the same time. So he had to sit. It was great. And then marimba with, cymbal, and then the third person was like Glock with, I think, 3 toms and a cymbal. So, trying to kind of get into that chamber ensemble feel of stuff, which is kind of like runs in line with my DMA work, my proposed sort of thing, to kind of get into a mindset that we don't need all these crazy meters. We don't need all this like rigid interpretation of a beat. Like, not to say we can play dirty, if you want to put it that way, or rhythmically not together, but in a way that's we all are like actively listening intimately to the other music things that are happening within the piece and responding to them accordingly. So I think I showed Shane the score of that one a little bit because it gets into an aleatoric thing.
Yes, you did.
Nice. So the marimba goes, and like I guess somewhat quasi tempo. Who knows? What ended up happening? The marimba's kind of going with the melody, or affect underneath of the aleatoric kind of bell stuff, and the vibraphone just kind of dibble dabbling. What I now call like noodle notes is with the piece I just finished. I had to like describe them as for the piano because it's like you're not going up the arpeggio or down. Like by all means do not do that because it sounds awful. Like you can start playing the outer notes and then just kind of let your fingers go in literally any random order that's not up or down. Yeah. And then whatever else can happen on top of that. So that was my first foray into that. It's trying to manipulate time in a non-traditional sense. It's not just nonsensical, And then the next piece, Summer Fever, the vibraphone and cello piece, that one got into a little bit of that and then started to manipulate other things in different ways in the later movements of it. So yeah, I have a whole shtick against our traditional percussion ensemble repertoire because it's not to say it's bad. It's just so derivative of that marching band mentality, I feel like, and it's not even to fault the people who write it or who like it. Like, it's not bad music. It's just we're holding so dearly to these like super rhythmically. I want to use the word integrity, like high, but I can't fit it in there anymore because he used rhythmically. So there's so much emphasis on that rhythmic integrity. There we go. That's what I want to say. That we kind of lose any freedom for the performers to communicate and kind of do what I call orchestra time. Because if you ever play with an orchestra, you're not putting on a metronome and just going. Yeah. Same with a wind ensemble. Some wind ensembles more fall in line with that, but so trying to let the music move as it is music. It's not just a metronome 24/7. It's not a MIDI track. So that's kind of the direction I'm heading, or trying to head with my music. And with working with Austin Franklin, kind of, I guess, tangenting, but not quite, I guess. His last piece that me and Michael Barnes played, Rhythmic Mosaics, that one was with
hold on a second. So Austin Franklin is someone me, Shane, and Jacob went to school with.
Right. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, he's a composition major, and now he finished at LSU, Louisiana State University.
He is finishing his final project right now, I think, for his doctorate in PhD in digital arts. I think it's not a DMA. I think.
Is he still at LSU?
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. Anyway, go on. He just kind of mentioned him without. Assuming everybody knows.
Right.
Go on with Austin.
The duet, Rhythmic Mosaics, I approached him, I forget kind of how it happened. I was like trying to join a Max MSP group on Facebook, and he was one of the admin to it. He was like, "Hey, hi, I do this. I am doing another degree in this," because he writes a lot of electronic music that's just electronics. You hit play and it's just that. There's no live performer involved. And he also does other stuff with Max MSP, where it's live music manipulation, like the really wordy and scholarly thing I described live electronics as in my stupid bio. That is just the microphone listening to the pitches that are being played by the instruments and performers, and then manipulating it in real time, and then spitting out of some speakers what's going on. So it's electroacoustic combo sort of thing going on. What was happening in Rhythmic Mosaics was just pretty standard playing together sort of things, but he's isolating certain frequencies for the program to listen for and then manipulate from there, and then produce other pitches from that with certain effects on it. That one was given the fact that it's called Rhythmic Mosaics, we couldn't do anything too crazy with this like free time sort of thing where it kind of moves in and out of other things, because it needed to be kind of tight knit because of the fact that Michael was playing a dotted eighth note like literally the entire piece. So he could only do so much with that regard to it, but still, like we were able to kind of not force in, but make some organic choices within that kind of rhythmic structure that he created. And then his next one that I hope we can get it on my next recital, is going to be piano, vibraphone, and cello, and I think I'll have an octave, but with live electronics. So I'm excited for that to see.
Nice. Wait, I have a question.
Would you say?
What's that?
Oh, go for it.
Sorry, you said you compose with electronics.
He does. I am not that smart.
Austin.
Oh, Austin does.
Austin
okay.
did.
I was just
Those
curious.
are his
Like,
pieces.
I wouldn't even know where to begin with that.
It's hard.
So I don't know. That's you don't have to like piggyback off it. And just throwing that out there. That's like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Composing with electronics is like something I'm like definitely not ready for.
What do you know? Which modern famous percussion composer or started off with computer music?
Lansky.
This
right?
is a person that Lansky. Oh, that's actually a good one, but there's a even more famous one. David should know.
He's like, yeah.
Alejandro Wenyao.
Oh.
Alejandro Wenyao. So obviously from us, we know him from Conversations and Variations, which is, pieces that are completely solo marimba. But he was, when he first moved to London in the 70s, that's where he gets into learning computer music. And that's, yeah. And I think, so if you want to learn more about like composing, like a lot of his interview with the Percussion Collective, he kind of talks about his mindset with how he comes up with, because at first he was just doing pure computer music. Like there's no performance, and he really likes it because like that's his music, 100% pure. That's what he wanted. There's no performers in the middle that could have any interpretation. What he puts out is exactly what he intended.
Well, you can see that translate too into his works, like works that have live players. It's like he writes in a way that's
the
like
bravado out. Yeah, it almost
like it's not like clear cut like marching band music is like battery percussion. Like battery percussion, it's like everything is exactly how it's notated on there, exactly how it needs to be played. But like Vinyao has a similar thing, and like he puts crescendos and he puts things that need bouncing and all, like there's so much things that he wants specific sounds for, which I think
like the accent and tenuto.
Yeah, accents. He phrases for you with the tenutos a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, so
that
he's
was just
very
a comment on your thing, but
no, it's true. I think another thing. Well, if you look at his interview with Percussion Collective, one of the thing he mentioned was called morphing. So around the 80s area is when I think he's talking about like the French computer music scenes, where what makes computer music unique and what they can do in a live performance is that they could change one sound, say it is a flute sound, or I don't know, French horn, and then it morph into like a human voice. That's something that we couldn't do in persons, right?
He does. He does that with. Sorry, I'm interrupting you, but it like reminds me of it. He in his operas, he's done that. In his operas.
Yeah.
Like he translates the voice into a different, or like he writes it in a way where it sounds like it morphs into an instrument or something like that.
Yeah. I actually read about that opera. Did you know the whole purpose of that?
Mm-mm.
So this is based off a very famous story called Rashomon. Jacob probably know this. So basically, it's there. So someone died, and then when they investigate the story, like everybody trying to defend themselves, so they lie to make them look good in the story. So in the opera, every time someone lie, the music become very dissonant. And then every time he's actually mentioning the truth, like, because when you tell a lie, there's some truth to lie. So every time you tell the truth, the music is like resonant, consonant, and then whenever it lies, it's kind of morphing into like very dissonant sounds, so it was very fascinating. You should look it up on his.
What
website.
Is it called? I need to look it up.
If you.
Dude,
It's called Rashomon. It's Rashomon. Vinyao.
Oh, it is Vinyao.
Sorry, that was really nerdy. So that was my main, because I have to talk about variations for my oral exam. So I've spent like hours and hours listening to his music, and then I didn't talk about any of it.
There's this. Hold on, I'm putting it in the chat.
Same thing happened to me.
I'm putting it in the chat. There's this one video.
Well, you always over prepare.
I put it in the chat if you guys want to look at it, but that was like the one that reminded me of that whole thing. It's from Rashomon.
Yeah, always. Yeah,
it's Masago. What? How do you say it? Masaga's Confession. I don't know. It's like an excerpt from it. It's pretty crazy. It sounds really wild.
I think that's the one I watched. Yeah, but anyways,
wow, that was a big tangent.
Sorry.
We're
just trying to like show. We're showing off.
Yeah, we're just showing off useless information. You know?
Yeah.
See how handy it comes in, you know?
Yeah, that's how people write 400-page documents for their DMA.
Exactly.
A la me talking for too long about that.
So, speaking of
I
useless
mean-
information,
You march SCB.
yeah, you march SCB, right?
Oh yeah.
We're kidding.
Okay,
Kidding.
so no. There's at the end of that summer, there was well, I guess to preface that, there's always the Paul Rennick Awards that he like gives away. They're not official awards that happen at the banquet,
Yeah.
but it's like, the funny awards, the ones that everyone looks forward to, because who cares about the most distinguished member award?
Oh hell
funny.
no! Yeah.
Besides who
no.
actually gets
Why would
it,
you care about try hard? Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be
so-
as useless as possible. Anyways,
Yeah.
Anyway, Jacob.
useless is the term for the day.
Jacob.
So I always hear about this award that's like sheep in the pasture, or something that's like, the animal about to get shot in the pasture, or it's just like lost in the pasture, or like the wool over its eyes, something sort of award where it's all just like you either have no idea what you're doing, or you're just like look confused all the time, or it's like you hate where you are right now because it's a drum corps. You kind of end up hating what's going on. So it comes to the banquet, and I'm like, I have an idea of who's gonna get that award, and then he ends up saying my name, and I'm like, but he did it in a even better way. He was like, this award, the sheep in the pasture award / wool over the eyes award / what did I get myself into award, Jacob Ottmer. Because that last descriptor was me.
Oh my gosh.
It was bad.
I just feel like the surprising thing is that you don't think you're the ones supposed to win that award.
Yeah.
I didn't think that I did that many things, but I guess I did.
Well, on a more serious note, with the SCV thing, how did you enjoy your experience? What was your overall experience with it, and what do you feel like you gained from it, besides obviously
that wonderful
the marching, quote unquote, the marching experience, obviously, like,
right.
you know.
So I think, just right off the bat, I think if I marched anywhere else, I would have quit mid-season, like straight up. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, and the most accountability to be able to do that same, the same show over and over and over throughout all move-ins with the, the highest quality of like educators, basically. So there's Sandy, there's Paul, there's KJ, there's Tyler, there's Reed. Is that right? And I'm forgetting, I think, another one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Reed. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, there was a guy named Jake at one point, who I think he hated me.
Oh.
But
it's the same name thing. Like, he was so mad that you
Yeah.
guys had
Yeah.
the same name that he just wanted you out.
yeah. So it was like the highest caliber of instruction I've ever had, especially coming from a prior experience that I still look back on and value that I did, but I have some reservations, to say the least. But I think, yeah, if I would have gone anywhere else, I would have quit. But going there, I gained so much more than just the marching experience, because it's like I got to see how these educators function, what they're teaching, with the ways they're describing larger concepts of like listening and playing, and approaching to the instrument, even in a marching setting, because it's always like 99% of the time I've heard just smack the crap out of the instrument, basically. Like, it is much more articulation and attack oriented because you're literally playing outside. It has to be. But it usually is at the disadvantage is not the right word. The cost, I guess, of good tone, good quality, and actually like a lot of musicianship. Like, it's hard to both teach musicianship and like actual real legitimate phrasing while trying to make the line clean. Like, that is not an easy task, and I'm not knocking prior educators in their ability or to do that. It's a hard thing to teach those concepts. But I think going there really showed me, or encouraged me for the future, that there is that style and quality of teaching within that part of percussion music, you know. And like since then, I haven't really been back. I didn't do any more marching band. I didn't march my age out. 2017 was the year before my age out. Didn't do indoor after that. And I went to Kent, and I've really only been focused on orchestral stuff and chamber stuff since then. But I've still taught some marching band. It's been, like I enjoy teaching it more than I did doing it, which is odd.
Well, you don't have to do all the hard work. You just talk
Yeah, I
about
don't.
it's so much easier. Come on, it's obvious. Well, I think it's fascinating that, like, obviously you're a really talented musician, and you know, like your future is obviously always going to be beyond marching band, right? You wanted to do DMA, you wanted to do the timpani orchestral stuff. So like, tell us about your mindset about, you know, despite that, you know, marching band is not going to be your future. Like, why did you still commit to do it? Or, you know, like just having that mentality of, yeah, I'll do it. Why not? Because I'm good enough to. So
Yeah, it is a valuable thing. I will not deter a student or discourage them from doing it. Like I might, you know, encourage them to seek certain groups per se, but like as far as doing it, like you're going to get about the same accountability of like your job is to do this within this ensemble, and we're going to hold you to that. You'll get that at pretty much any ensemble to one degree or another. You'll still get generally pretty like clear-cut instruction on technique and different things. So it's still valuable to do that, even like in an open class group, because you have people that go from the, you know, the high echelon to upper echelon of the activity, down. Not, I don't even want to say down really, just over to the like less funded part of the activity. That so you have these high quality musicians that do it at a high level, then they leave and graduate, age out, and go teach at the other groups that are like open class, and you have some pretty good talent going into that now. So it's, I think, completely viable and valuable to still pursue those efforts, because it gives you a lot of structure. It gives you a lot of reps, which you need when you're young, because you're developing muscle memory and just habits for the rest of your life. It's hard to change technique down the line.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, considering all of us have done it, literally everybody here has done it, I think we can all agree that it's so focused on building your fundamentals to the maximum level. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like because we've all five of us excelled at the other side of percussion, right? You know, and I feel like we are reaping the benefits of what the other side did for us, you know, because again, like the fundamentals are taught at such a high level, and that's what I think at least marching percussion is all based on. I mean, yes, there's like fundamentals on, you know, the orchestral concert side, but like there's other, like, you know, like playing soft on a snare drum. I don't think that's like fundamental really. You know what I mean? Like that's a technique in its own, you know? But because our fundamentals are so strong from the other side, like it helps us obtain, and we know how to work to obtain the other skill sets in a much better way, I guess, if that makes sense. So I don't know if you guys agree with that, but
yeah.
I mean, and also being like part of something bigger than you. Like, you know, you have to be a team player, right? There's 149 other people in the corps, and, you know, and nobody's a hero. Everybody have to do their part in order for the organization to be successful. And I think that's like real life skills that you're learning in drum corps. So,
and just from a playing perspective too, just like being an ensemble player in general. Like, I feel like that helped me become a better chamber musician for sure. Immensely, just because of like how your ears are trained in drum corps and stuff like that.
I always have to ask this question, but Jacob, what instrument did you play before percussion?
So, also not what you expect, but I didn't start percussion or really anything until halfway through high school. So it was like I did a lot of like Rock Band, you know, the game in Guitar Hero before. Yeah. So I eventually, you know, when Rock Band came out, it's like you can play drums on it. Why don't I want to do that? I do want to do that. So I did that. And then eventually I started following a guy named JP Bouvet who's still doing stuff. Crazy online lessons for like crazy concepts on drum set. It's awesome. I don't follow it anymore because it's like hardly what I do. And I was like wanting to kind of learn how to read music. And that was around my freshman year of high school. So the end of my sophomore year, I was talking to a friend and he was in band. I had some other friends in band. I was like, I'm just going to join band, you know. So I did that around the end of my sophomore year, you know, took lessons for the first time ever, had to learn everything from scratch and catch up to people. And then by the time it was my senior year, it was like music or chemistry.
Oh.
Yeah. So I didn't play anything until then.
The whole Rock Band thing like resonates with me on a personal level because that's the exact like same thing. Like I played the game. I was like, man, I want to be a drummer when I grow up. So
Nice.
that was basically how I really wanted to.
Anybody listening, if you want to play percussion, you have to start with Rock Band. Okay.
Yeah, Rock Band 1,
You have
2, and 3.
And you have to
Not
get You have to get 99% accuracy on every single song before.
There's a challenge on Rock Band. I don't know if it's in the third one where you play every song back to back, no pausing or anything.
What?
At the end of the game. It's like
so you have to do that.
ordeal.
You also have to.
Did you do it, Jacob?
No, I did not.
You also
He's
have to
lying,
get
he did.
the first gen like drum set, like just the 4 pads.
Oh,
yeah,
have
that
to.
one, the OG
Really-
one, the
really-
symbol thing is bad.
Symbols don't need them. See? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. Thank you, Jacob, for coming on to the undergraduate with us as our first guest of season 2. So again, thank you. We will link all of Jacob's things that he wants us to link, like his website and his YouTube and maybe some other things in the description below. And go check him out. Jacob Ottmer.
Yay.